Ubeperik Haroya, says the Maharal. Ubeperik Haroya, who Talmided have a shackle vazla basred Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yossi. A Talmud was walking behind the Bishral Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yossi noticed Chazi the Kamafachet. He was having fear. He was having anxiety. He told him, if you're afraid, you must be sinning. So the Talmud asked him, the pasuk says, good is the person who is always fearful. So he answered him, that fear is only relevant with B'divrei Torah. And now the Gemara, Yudoi Barnos Navashakal V'Azir Basrei Rav Nuna was walking behind Rav Nuna. Chazdi kom misnach, he saw, he noticed that he was moaning. Amalei Yisurim Kaboya Hu Gavr La Osuyan Avshei. This person is begging for pain. He's asking for trouble. The Chsiv Kipachat Pachad Tivyasini. Amalei. So the Talmud asked him the same question. Vaksiv. The pasuk says Ashri Adam Mefachit Talmud, that a person should be afraid. So he answered him the same thing. Ahubadivrei Torah Ksiv, says the Maharal. Someone who is afraid, someone who is in a state of fear, that is the opposite of Bitachon Bashem. Someone who has Bitachon, he is not in a state of fear, he's not afraid. As Shlomo said, the fear itself is the thing that will bring trouble to a person, and the Bitachon is what will bring his safety. That's where Rav Nuna expressed himself. This person is looking for trouble. Why? The kiven she'ein b'cha bitachon, says the Maharal. If you do not have bitachon, that in and of itself ata goyrem liyisurim sheyavoyu. In other words, since till now, mamash, that we saw how bitachon can bring toiv and can bring chesed and can cause the channels of chesed to open up for a person. The same thing, the lack of bitachon, that enough is something that would cause Yisurim for a person to come. And besides that, says the Maharal, not only is the lack of bitachon something, a lack of the protection against evil and opening the channels of chesed, but the fear in and of itself is something that would cause a person to have Yisurim. Because any kli, says the Maharal, that is strong and whole and complete, should not have to be afraid that it will break easily. When something is bad, it's halfway broken or weak, then kalu ashvir, it's easy for it to break. This fellow who is afraid, he's proving and showing that he is not complete. He's like a weak Yankele. The person who has fear, who is in a state of fear, is mamash considered a weakened kli, a weakened vessel for the energy that he's supposed to have. That's why Rav Nuna, for the person who was groaning and moaning, he said this person is looking for trouble. We know the Gemara tells us that moaning breaks half the body of a person, meaning to say it breaks half of his energy, and therefore he would be considered a kli in a very weakened state. Of course, therefore he's opening the door to be broken completely. And that's why the same thing by the first Gemara with Rabbi Shmuel. He told him, you're afraid, you must be a sinner. Why? Because otherwise, why is he afraid? The only reason he has to be afraid is because he sinned, and therefore he feels like he should be going through trouble. So therefore he must be a sinner. The point is, says the Maharal, two things. First of all, someone who is afraid, it's a sign of a lack of bitachon, and because of that lack of bitachon, he might bring Yisurim on himself, and the fear in and of itself causes him to be a broken kli, and a broken kli indeed is easier to break.